Discover how you can reduce your phone bill dramatically through a little-known federal program that many overlook. Watch on to save money effortlessly today. Welcome to this explainer. If you've been feeling the pinch of those monthly utility bills lately, you are definitely not alone. But here's the good news. There's actually a vital FCC resource out there designed specifically to keep you connected to jobs, healthcare, and emergency services without completely breaking the bank. It's called the Lifeline program, and it's an absolute game changer.
Okay, let's run through our agenda real quick. First, we'll cover what the Lifeline program actually is, then we'll check your eligibility, walk through the step-by-step application process, tackle some frequently asked questions, and wrap up with essential resources and the all-important fine print.
Section 1. What is the Lifeline program? The FCC benefit.
So let's talk real dollars and cents here. If you qualify, your household receives a standard monthly discount of up to $9.25 off your phone or internet service. But if you happen to live on qualifying tribal lands, that discount jumps to a whopping $34.25 every single month. Over the course of a year, that is a really substantial amount of cash kept right where it belongs, in your pocket.
Now, there is a catch, but it's an easy one to understand. The FCC has a strict rule known as the one per household rule. Think of it like a house-wide pass rather than an individual ticket. A household is simply defined as a group of people living together who share income and expenses. The crucial thing to remember is you only get one Lifeline benefit for the whole household, so you have to make a choice. You can apply it to your mobile phone or your home phone, but not both. Same goes for the internet. You have to choose between mobile or home internet. Moving on to Section 2. Checking your eligibility. Do you qualify for Lifeline? There are basically two frameworks for figuring out if you're eligible. The first is what we call program-based. Basically, if you, or someone you claim as a dependent, already participates in certain federal assistance programs, boom, you're automatically eligible. This includes major programs you've probably heard of, like SNAP, Medicaid, SSI, Federal Public Housing Assistance, or the Veterans Pension and Survivors Benefit. There are also specific tribal programs that'll qualify you. Oh, and importantly, under the Safe Connections Act, survivors of domestic violence can receive a 6-month benefit by just providing proof of a line separation request and financial hardship. Now, the second way to qualify is based purely on your income. You can absolutely get Lifeline if your gross household income is at or below 135% of the federal poverty guidelines. Take a look at this table. These are based on the 2026 guidelines. As you can see, for a single person in the 48 contiguous states, the limit is $21,546. For a family of 4, it sits at $44,550. Go ahead and just pause this explainer right here for a second. Find your household size in your state and see if you hit those numbers.
Section 3. The step-by-step application process. Securing your Lifeline benefit.
Look, applying for government programs can sometimes feel a bit like trying to solve a giant puzzle, right? But we're going to completely demystify it for you right now. You essentially have 3 main ways to apply. The absolute fastest route is applying online through the National Verifier at lifelinesupport.org. Alternatively, you can just contact a participating phone or internet company directly, and they'll help get you enrolled. Your third option is to print and mail a good old-fashioned paper application to the Lifeline Support Center in New York. To give you the best practical tips today, we're actually going to look closely at that paper application because it perfectly illustrates exactly what information the government needs from you, regardless of how you apply. Okay, looking at the actual form, there is one absolute golden rule before you even start. You must use black ink and write in all capital letters. Right here in Section 2A, you'll need to provide your full legal name, so no nicknames please, along with your date of birth, and crucially, you need the last 4 digits of your Social Security number or your tribal ID number. Moving right along to the address section. Now, pay attention here, because this is a massive pro tip to avoid getting your application rejected. You absolutely must provide the physical home address where you will be getting the service. You literally cannot use a P.O. box for this home address field. If you only receive your mail at a P.O. box, don't worry, you can list that a bit further down in the separate mailing address section. But that primary home address has to be a physical location. Also, notice there's a little box to check if you live on tribal lands. Make sure you hit that if it applies, because that's exactly how you trigger that higher $34.25 discount. Next up is Section 2C. Honestly, you only need to touch this part if you're qualifying through a child or a dependent in your household. For instance, if you personally don't receive Medicaid, but your child does, you can totally qualify through them. You just pop their legal name, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of their Social Security number right into this section.
Finally, we reach Section 3, which is where you actually prove your eligibility. Here, you'll just check the box for the specific government program you participate in, or check the box that matches your household size and income. Now listen closely to this part. If the Lifeline system can't automatically verify your eligibility electronically, you are going to have to submit copies of your proof documents. This could be a benefit letter from SNAP or Medicaid, or maybe a past tax return to prove your income level. A huge tip here? Sending those copies right along with your initial application can speed up your processing time like crazy.
Let's move to Section 4. Frequently asked questions. What actually happens after you apply?
A super common question we get is, so how long does all this actually take? Well, if you use the online portal, you often find out incredibly fast. But if you mail in the paper application, the Lifeline Support Center has to manually review your packet, and they typically mail an eligibility decision back out to you within about 1 to 2 weeks. Once you're approved, the final step is super simple. Just contact your chosen service provider to formally enroll and start seeing that discount on your bill.
Next question. How do I actually keep my benefit? It's important to note that Lifeline is definitely not a set it and forget it kind of program. By strict FCC rules, you have to notify your service provider within 30 days if you move to a new address. Even more importantly, you have to tell them within 30 days if your income changes, or if you leave a qualifying government program and just no longer qualify for Lifeline. Plus, you'll most likely be required to recertify your eligibility every single year.
Finally, Section 5. Resources and important disclaimers. Where to get help and the fine print. To really maximize these benefits, your absolute primary hub is lifelinesupport.org. From that site, you can apply online, or you can use their amazing Companies Near Me tool to easily find local phone and internet providers that actively participate in the program. If you ever need a paper application mailed directly to you, or if you require any assistance due to a disability, you can call the Lifeline Support Center directly at 1-800-234-9473. Also, just a quick aside, if you live in Texas or Oregon, you actually have to use your specific state websites to apply, rather than this federal portal. Okay, time for the professional disclaimer. The Lifeline application is an official federal document. You absolutely must give accurate and true information on all of these forms. The fine print here is crystal clear. Lifeline is completely non-transferable, which means you cannot just hand your benefit over to another person. If you give false or fraudulent information, or if you try to pull a fast one and get more than one benefit per household, you will be de-enrolled and permanently barred from the program. On top of that, the U.S. government can take legal action against you, which can include hefty fines or even imprisonment. So keep it honest.
So, with all of these straightforward steps clearly laid out for you, and all these resources right at your fingertips, you really have to ask yourself, are you leaving money on the table? If you qualify, this is a permanent, reliable way to dramatically lower your monthly expenses and ensure you maintain the essential connectivity you deserve. Honestly, it makes you wonder, if a federal program this impactful is this easy to completely overlook, what other hidden benefits out there are you missing out on? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, take 5 minutes today to claim what's yours.